bro, I'm thinking I'm tripping. I'm talking about, I think I'm hearing stuff. Something got to be wrong because I know that lady did not just say, Jamal, that's your daddy. So when she said it, I got to still maintain the acting as if I ain't really studying him, paying him no attention. So I go, fumbling with the Chris Brown CD, and I look up at him, bro, he holding that phone. He just looking so crazy, his mouth kind of open. He was like, what? Mom, what you just say? And then I guess she had just made it to work because you could hear her talking to somebody. She said, hold on, girl, give me 10 minutes, please, give me 10 minutes. She took a deep breath. She said, Jamal. He like, what did you just say? He got real aggressive. And he was like, you said that's my what? And she was like, boy, that's your daddy. And he said, Big Ma, my daddy. And he stood up with it. Like, he got aggressive. Like, he got mad. He said, Big Ma, my daddy. What are you talking about? My daddy dead. What are you talking about? And she was like, baby, calm down, calm down, calm down. And then he sat back down. And she was like, listen, it was either him or Big Ma, okay? He did some terrible things and went to prison. And, Big Ma knew it was either between him or him. Either it was him or him. And, even with knowing the possibility, he still decided to be there. And as you got a little older, when you was probably about like 3-4 years old, I started seeing features from such and such, which is Gullant. I'm just not about to be saying his first name because y'all some FBI agents. Y'all gonna be going looking the man up. And I was honest with Big Ma, and we went and did DNA. You wasn't his. She like, so once we took the test, and then you can hear her voice cracking like she about to start crying. She like, once we took the test, it came back and said, Big Ma has been excluded from paternity, and it's 0% that you're his child. And then she started crying, and she was like, and it just hurt me. I feel so bad because I feel like that brought him an early death, because after that happened, man, that man didn't care about his hygiene for real no more. He ain't really care about his clothes, if they clean, this and this and that. He just started smoking all day, drinking all day. And, he had that heart attack. But I feel like him knowing you wasn't his biological child, knowing for a fact, that's what sent him into an early grave. Jamal just asked her, like, so why you never told me this? Like, why you never told me the truth? She was like, Jamal, what would it matter? If you grew up knowing Big Ma as your daddy, why would I throw that confusion in there when I know your biological daddy is in prison for the rest of his life? He has life without the possibility of parole. That man will never get out. So why would I even bring that into your life? So he like, it don't matter. It don't matter if that's my daddy. I deserve to know that. You should have told me that. And then he like, man, this nigga is the biggest snitch at this whole camp. This nigga is the real police. This nigga be telling on everybody. Ain't no way that's my fucking daddy. Bro, I go to looking at him again. And now I'm not just looking at him like, I'm looking at the features now. You know what I'm saying? And bro, when he stopped talking and he was angry, he was like taking a, deep breath while Mom Deuce was talking. And that bottom lip went to hanging like Gallant's be hanging. I went to looking from the side. I said, oh yeah, that's his son for real. You are the father. So he hung up the phone. He handed me the phone. He was like, bro. He just shot out the room. And soon as he pushed the door open, I seen him shoot to the right. He started knocking on the door real aggressive. You hear Gullant say, don't you see the tissue in the door, motherfucker? Say like, man, it's me. This Jamal. I need to holler at you. So he like, okay, you can hold on too. So I come out there. So when I look out, I see Joe Dirt walking across the floor. I do him like this. So Joe Dirt come over there. So I look up at Jamal. I'm like, you good, bro? He had his head down. He wasn't even saying nothing. So Dirt came walking up to my, what's up, folks? I said, come here real quick, G. I need you to help me do something. I just said that so Jamal don't think a nigga, you know what I mean? Joe Dirt come in the room. I pull the door up. I say, bro, this shit crazy, bro. He said, what? What the fuck you talking about? I said, bro, Gullant is Cornball Jamal daddy, bro. He said, really? I said, hell yeah. He said, I knew it was something about that motherfucker. I knew he was a punk. And Deputy Warden Gallant's been giving War Daddy vibes. So that's what it turns out to be, huh? Deputy Warden Gallant's is Cornball Jamal's War Daddy. I say, shut the fuck. I'm not saying that, man. And for anybody who may not know what a War Daddy is, it's a person that, well, it's two people that's homosexual. One of them people cannot really, defend themselves, or they probably just scary, or they might kind of defend themselves, but the other person that's considered the war daddy is probably better at it, usually bigger, usually more aggressive, and his job is to protect that other person, and that's what they call him, a war daddy. So Joe Dirt like, well, what are you talking about? I said, bro, that is his father, bro. He looked at me talking about, huh? I said, bro, listen. And right when I was finna try to explain to him, you hear Deputy Warden Gullant saying, yeah, what's up, Jamal? And then he like, come, bro, let me holler at you real quick. So I guess he's shooting the room. So me and Joe Dirt shoot to the back of the cell, go to the vent. I'm grabbing him. He looking at me stupid. I'm like, man, come here. So we go to the vent. I put my ear all up on the vent. And you hear Deputy Warden Gullant saying, hey, man, you just gonna walk in my room like that? I just got done using the bathroom. And before he could finish even saying that, Jamal cut him off. I was like, hey, man, you know somebody named Big Ma? So Deputy Warden Gullant was like, Big Ma? What dorm that boy in? He said, nah, Big Ma, man. From back in the day, my mama used to date a man named Big Ma. So Deputy Warden Gullant get kind of quiet, you know what I'm saying? He don't say nothing for a while. Then we hear him say, yeah, I know that boy. I remember Big Ma. If I ain't mistaken, I heard he passed away. And then Jamal had got kind of quiet. Joe Dirt sitting here looking at me all crazy, all kind of stupid ass facial expressions, laughing and chuckling. I'm like, man, shut the hell up, man. So next thing you know, you hear that man say, did you know you was my pops? And there was a long silence. That's when Joe Dirt really looking like this. Deputy Warden Gullant said, you must have talked to your mama. I was like, that ain't what I asked you, man. Did you know you was my pops? Deputy Warden Gullant was like, yeah, that's why I had your bag. That's why I ain't let nothing happen to you, yeah? And when you talk to your mama, why would she bring that up to you, man? And then he told, this man tell Deputy Warden Gullant the entire story from how he talked to her, meaning what device he talked to her on, had me nervous as hell. And Deputy Warden Gullant, once he got done talking, he gonna say, I knew that boy Bill had a cellular device over there. I knew he had one. He ain't fooling me. And then he just went to talking, and then Gullant was asking him how your mama doing and this and that. Bruh, Jamal started like screaming stuff, but we couldn't really make out what he was saying because he was like, like when you're overwhelmed with emotion and you crying and you screaming, it was like that. And then like you hear Deputy Warden Gullant saying, come here. And then it's like some bumping noise. So I guess Jamal like probably spazzing out, walking off, and Deputy Warden Gullant trying to grab him or something. And then you just hear just weeping. Jamal was over there crying. So I'm assuming Deputy Warden Gullant was probably over there hugging him or something. And Joe Dirt gonna look at me and whisper, folks, you sure that's his real dad? War daddy thing could still be a real thing. I said, bro, shut up, bro. But next thing you know, you just heard, ah! And then the door bust over. So I jump up, I run over there to the door. Jamal walking out of the Gullant room, boo-hoo crying, bro. Boo-hoo crying. Everybody staring at him. I look in the room, Deputy Warden Gullant got his head down, but he walking up to the door, pulling up the door. And when he get to the door and see me standing right there, I was like, you all right? He was like, yeah. Matter of fact, I need to talk to you, Bill. So I step in there. I'm like, what's up? What's up, bro? They say, hey, listen here. I know you got a cellular device over there, and I ain't worried about that right now, Bill. I got bigger fish to fry. Bill, I'm just asking for a little bit of respect now, him. I just spared you on the walk, Bill. I just spared you about that mess that happened down there on that walk. And you still owe me one, Bill. Them double cheeseburgers wasn't enough. You still owe me one. So all I'm asking you, keep this between us. Don't let nobody know nothing you heard on that cellular device. And I was like, all right, bro. He was like, all right, now, Bill, give me a moment. And then I left out. I'm chilling. I'm doing me. Dirt keep coming in and out talking about it. Like, he still can't believe it. So I told Joe Dirt, though, like, straight up, like, don't repeat that. Don't say nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? So he like, yeah, you already know I ain't gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, later on, I just got out the shower. I'm getting my stuff ready just, for the night. Knock at the door. Yo, it's Jamal. He come in. I'm like, what's up, bro? And you could tell on his face, like, you could tell when a nigga done been crying. You know what I'm saying? That's how his face was. Bro, that is so crazy, bro. I was like, what, you need to use the phone again? I'll step out this time, let you do what you got to do. So he like, hell yeah, bro, if you don't mind. So I give him the phone. I step out the room. I go over there, fuck with Dirt for about 20 minutes. I go back in the room. So when I was walking in, he was telling Mom Dukes, all right, love you. I'll talk to you later. So he get off the phone. When I come in, he tell me the whole story about Big Mal and how he remember him for being his pops, and he never even heard nothing about Gullant and this and that. And he had Big Mal, he was named after Big Mal. Bruh, that man said, but you know what I've been thinking about? You know why it's cool, though? And I said, why? He said, nigga, Gullant is the biggest snitch at the whole compound, nigga. Nigga, that's family power. Nigga, that's my dad. Man, nigga, I'm finna have power around this bitch. So I was like, hey, listen, I wouldn't, take it in that type of route. You know what I'm saying? You just never know, bro. Like, that ain't necessarily the way you probably should be looking at it. You know what I'm saying? So while I'm sitting here talking to him, the Muslims go to doing I don't know what it's called, but they make this noise. I don't want to call it a prayer or a chant because I'm not sure, but it's basically their way of letting people know, like letting the other Muslims know, come pray or whatever. And it goes something like this. They stand outside and they do this. Allahu Akbar, Allah. And when the one dude go out there in the day room and start doing that, that's when you see all the other Muslims coming outside. Their face be wet, hands be wet. Like, you could tell they just washed their face, because I think they got to wash their hands, face, and their feet. You hear, we still sitting here talking. This man talk about all the benefits he gonna get from Gullant, and he gonna use him for his snitching ways and this, and that. And, I'm like, hey, them folks calling the prayer, boy, you got to go and get up out of there. And he like, man, hell yeah, I'm about to go. So he get up, he walk into the door, he turn around, still talking to me. Done ask me for a Chris Brown CD. I'm like, bro, you not finna go pray? You about to smoke a Chris Brown CD? That man came straight back over there, sat down on the end of the toilet. He was like, man, fuck that shit, bro. Man, go out my daddy. What the fuck them niggas gonna do to me, man? I don't care about that shit, man. I said, bro, you not finna go pray? He said, man, hell nah. I was like, ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. So then, and it makes you question if I was right or not when I said the reason you ran and joined it was because the Bloods done kicked you out. You know what I'm saying? So now that you feel like you got something, where you would be a little leverage for the Muslims because you got a snitch as your daddy, a big, well-respected by administration snitch, now you feel like you don't need them no more. Like, I don't know, but I think this has always been my opinion when it comes to that type of stuff. I understand people joining things for protection. I understand people, joining things for whatever reason they decide to join. But I never really looked at it the same with people who join Muslim for any reason other than they genuinely want to, learn this, or they genuinely believe the teachings of Islam, because that's religion, bro. That's not nothing to play with. That's not like a game where you just go play around. Now, in prison, sometimes, people carry themselves as a gang. It is what it is. But I'm saying in a serious manner where, the entire basis of this is around God and things related to God. I just don't think that's something people should be playing with and running, joining because this happened. I just, I just wouldn't play like that with no religion. So I guess, one of them seen him come in my room, or they know he be coming over here or whatever, because it was a knock at the door. I'm like, yo, they pulled the door open. It was one of the Muslim dudes. He got his rug thrown over his shoulder. He got his kufi on. He was like, what's up, CB? I was like, what's up, bro? He looked at bro. He was like, all right, I'm good. He looked at bro. He was like, hey, come on. It's time to pray. And bro was like, man. So he was like, what you mean, He was like, bro, I'm straight. He said, you not finna come pray? Bro was like, nah, bro, I ain't Muslim no more. I'm straight. And he was just staring at him for a minute. He turned around, closed the door. So we were actually in the dorm with the imam. The imam, outside looking in, the imam is like the head Muslim, but I've had a Muslim tell me that the imam is the leader of the prayer or something like that, leader of the group, the prayer or something like that. So he come knock on the door. I'm like, yo, he pulled the door open. He like, excuse me, brother. I'm like, nah, you good. So he looked at bro. He was like, hey, let me holler at you real quick. So Jamal jump up. He's like, man, what's signing, bro? What's signing, bro? At the end of the day, bro, come on, man. Like, come on, bro. Ain't nobody got time for that lame ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Thinking like, damn, that nigga whole energy just shifted, just turned that fast. You know what I'm saying? So he like, first off, calm down. So at this point, they stepping out my door. So I get up, I'm walking to the door too. As I'm walking to the door, I hear Jamal say, man, first off, stop calling me Op. Just like I told the other head rap over there, I ain't Muslim no more. So I'm like, oh, this nigga tripping, bro. When that man said something, head rap, I ain't Muslim no more, man, that imam grabbed that nigga by his neck with both of his hands. He grabbed his ass tight too. But listen, when I say that nigga Jamal, that nigga couldn't do nothing. That nigga put them real vice grips on that nigga neck real fast. So all the Muslims running over there, hold on. Man, next thing you know, keep in mind, we're right in front of my room. I'm directly next door to Deputy Warden Gullant room. Man, next thing you know, that door swung open. Deputy Warden Gullant say, hey, motherfucker, you better get your goddamn hands off that boy before I get the warden down here. You don't know who you fucking with, do it. You don't know. So he instantly let him go ASAP. And he said, Gullant, but listen, bro. Gullant was like, no, I ain't no but listen. Shit. Jamal, bring your motherfucking ass in here. And Jamal went straight in the room with Gullant. Gullant pushed him in there, pulled the door up, and then came over there, went to talking to the Muslim and asking me questions about what just happened, and they told him what happened. And then Gullant told the imam, well, it's over with at this point. Just leave him alone. I'm going to make sure he don't talk to y'all. Y'all don't talk to him. So he walking off. So the Muslim dude like, that ain't how that work, Gullant. So Gullant said, what you mean? He was like, that ain't how that work, nigga. You can't just play with Allah like that, and then you sitting here telling me just don't talk to him no more, don't say nothing else to him. Man, nigga finna do something to that boy. So Deputy Warden Gullant turned around and was walking back up towards the imam, and he was like, you run around this motherfucker acting like you so godly. You act like you God himself, and you sitting here talking about you gonna do something to some motherfucking body. You put your hands on that motherfucking boy, I'm gonna have a warrant on your ass so fast. So they just go to arguing because all the Muslims like, bro, you always on some police shit, bro. Like, anytime something happens, you always say something involving 12 or involving the police to some degree, bro. You know what I'm saying? But the imam still like, I'm not studying nothing you talking about. Jamal really just stay close to Gullant all that day. We go to detail the next day. Jamal want to go back to the dorm for lunch, talking about he wanted to cook a little pocket in the items that the warden secretary would give us. She don't got up there, which, I was cool because she got Cheetos, beef sticks, and noodles. That's enough for a pocket right then and there. Cornball Jamal, when he came back up to the detail and opened his mouth, bro, that man had blood all in his mouth. He said he went down there and the imam got some Muslims to jump on him. But he wasn't knotted up or nothing. Like, you couldn't even tell. He had some little scratches on his arm, but it was blood all in his mouth. And I was like, I said, you ain't tell Gullant, did you? He said, hell yeah, I seen Gullant before I even came up here and saw you. We sitting behind the counter inside like soon as you walk into the building, once you get past the front entrance, of course, and you walking in the building, it's a desk that they sit at sometime, but ain't nobody there. So we just chilling right there. I'm telling him, like, you need to go to the bathroom, tighten that up. So the warden come walking straight through. He was looking like this. And he was like, hey, I looked up. I was like, yes, sir. He said, no, not you, him. And he was like, he ain't say nothing. He just looked at him. He said, such and such, the imam, the head Muslim, that's the one jumped on you, or they had somebody jump on you. And Jamal nodded his head. He said, you ain't got no injuries or nothing. And Jamal opened his mouth. He was like, gosh. He said, they got a good gash. He said, come on, let's go to medical. Come with me real quick. And Jamal left out. When I was walking out through the front, I saw the deputy warden of security coming out. And when I got through the glass, Deputy Warden Gullant was standing right there talking to the real deputy warden of security. And he was like, yeah, man. And you know, them guys don't know, about who Jamal is. So at that point, it let me know all the administrators knew what was going on. I wouldn't be surprised if Gullant, the one got him transferred down there. So he said, yeah, they don't know what's going on, and I can't expose my hand, Warden, but that motherfucker gonna have somebody jump on my little boy. I really want to beat his fucking ass before y'all transfer the motherfucker up out of here. So, right, when he was saying that, that's when the deputy warden saw me. So he just started laughing. He didn't say nothing, I guess, to, just make it seem like he's not entertaining the conversation or whatever. And I went out there and sat on the bench. They all walked down there to the dorm. Bro, they came walking back out about 10 minutes later with the cart. They had the imam and two of the other Muslims in the dorm handcuffed. All their property was on the carts. I'm thinking they finna take them to the hole or the tier or something. They take them straight to ID. Straight to ID. I had to go in there and help with like the property stuff, because when people coming in or going out, it's just so much you got to do in property and getting these things together, these bags where they blanket sheets, all that type of stuff be. So I had to go help with that. Bro, them folks got immediate transfer that same moment. That boy Deputy Warden Gullant, that nigga gonna get it done more than King Young. Sheesh. But hey, listen, bro. At the end of the day, you don't ever want to be in a situation where you in prison and meet your pops. You know what I'm saying? Do the right thing.